on this computer. Okay, I think it's recording.
Yes, I see it in the corner. It says recording. Yep.
Okay. Um, okay. We can start with the questions. So the first one, the ideology of cure. Why does
Mm.
Claire have a problem with the idea of overcoming a disability?
Do we want to like go in order, or are we just gonna like, or do we want to just say it out?
We can just
Like,
like say it.
okay. Um, um, I guess she put in the article that overcoming bombards disabled people, and I guess she views it as a problem because she believes that other people see it as overcoming means wait a minute. Hold on, I'm losing it. That disabled people can only succeed by overcoming disabilities. There we go, period.
Yeah. I thought that it was because like overcoming something implies that like what you're the thing that you're overcoming is like a bad thing.
Right.
So like in the article when she said that like strangers would offer like prayers or solution, like she felt or like she knew that they were like pitying her
Mm.
and she knew that they were like assuming that she was not normal and she was like unnatural kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the those statements, and also like she also brings up the point that like Whoopi Goldberg, how she how she became successful, and it was kind of like with the point that disabled people can only become successful by overcoming disability. She was kind of bringing up that maybe her learning disability is one of the reasons that she became successful, instead of focusing on it as she overcame her disability, which is why she's successful. Like perhaps it contributed to some sort to her success.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. The next question says, what kind of attitudes reaffirm the tragedy of disability and the need for cure? What is cure culture? So I said that or like the word cure assumes that something is like damaged and that like in turn wait. And the attitude that reaffirms that is the attitude that people don't the people wait. That people that like believe that people that don't traditionally align with society's understanding of what's normal kind of
Hmm.
reaffirms that idea. If that makes any sense at all.
No, that makes sense because I was gonna say the same thing. Like people are viewing like a disability as not being considered normal,
Mhm.
and it's making it like it isn't everyday life. Like just like somebody that doesn't have a disability, it's like, oh, they're normal. And then somebody with a disability is considered not normal, which that shouldn't be the case because that's just not that. It's just a disability. Like nothing's wrong with them. They're still a person. So I feel like that kind of reaffirms and how people think everybody needs a cure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in my viewpoint, like cure culture is kind of like pitying those with disabilities to the point where you kind of view them as that they don't have the same capabilities and potential for success as you do. And I think that's wrong because you're essentially like stunting their growth by reaffirming that their disability is like holding them from obtaining their true potential.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. The next question is what is disability justice? I couldn't find anything in the reading about it. but I looked it up and it's just like it says it's a social justice movement which focuses on examining disability and ableism as they relate to other forms of oppression and identity such as race, class, and gender. So I guess that's what that means.
Yeah, I feel like that's just that. Like, like that's just yeah, like that. There's
That's
the
just the word.
answers.
Okay. Should we just move on to the Twitter thread now? We don't have anything else to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really not much like questions.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Like this one's a multiple choice question, basically. Okay, yeah, we can move on to the
Okay, so
thread.
this next one is do you agree or disagree with each of these statements? So I guess we can just say if we agree or not.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe we'll like elaborate with one sentence so the Zoom isn't like 5 minutes long.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, she did make it short, so
Okay.
Yeah.
short.
If we have something to say, we can just say it, and if not, we can just
Okay.
move on.
Period.
Yeah,
Period.
that's fine with me.
Okay. First one says a core component of how mental health disorders are assessed is by the degree to which they impair normal functioning.
Mm,
Um, I would agree with that. But like, and then as far as my definition of normal functioning, I would say like to be able to safely like provide for your not provide, but like non-violence, non-aggression, able to safely like care for yourself and in some ways like care for others. That's I think that would be my definition of normal functioning.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I agree with the statement.
mhm.
Um, yeah.
I feel like I agree at some extent. I feel like when I read it again, it says to which they are impaired, like to normal functioning. That's where it kind of like gets me like as normal functioning, like what is really considered normal functioning.
Yeah. That's
It's
where I would
kind
kind of
of
like, eh,
yeah, so I agree, but like in the middle because it's kind of not a good way of
yeah,
putting it.
I agree.
This is
Yeah.
also
Like,
it's also kind of weird because like I know there's some conditions that essentially like enhance like your functioning and like your intelligence. Like I don't know if you've seen like some people with autism who are very good at like math or something. So
yeah.
Right,
it's kind of like it goes like both ways because the definition of normal functioning I just think varies person to person. It's a
exactly.
very like subjective term.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah. Okay. The second one says mental disorder labels are one of the ways that capitalism rationalizes itself and keeps us from questioning the oversized demands it places on individuals. I I think I agree with that because um capital or like our society definitely puts a lot of pressure on people, like even with just like going to college and like being a
Hmm.
student. And um I always like say something and then like kind of like forget what I was gonna say.
No, because same, like I totally understand. You're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
I get what you're saying. It's like society kind of places up on this like fixed route, and then if you can't operate correctly under the fixed route, they characterize you as like I would say like impaired from normal functioning, like in the previous statement. And so it's just kind of this continuous rationalization. It's like if you can't keep up, then this is what we're going to label you as.
Hmm. I
When
think
like
that's like a reason why so many like college students and like students in general are so like depressed and anxious. It's because like there's so much pressure on them and they can't keep up with all these like standards.
yeah,
Exactly. And
exactly.
why they're committing suicide at our school.
Yeah,
There's that too.
really sad.
It really is. So I agree. I also agree with it as well.
Okay. C, to be mentally healthy under capitalism is simply to be capable of meeting capitalism's productivity demands.
Mm,
I think that one goes hand in hand with B, so I agree with it.
I kind of agree with it, but this is also like very subjective. It's like your people's roles are different within society, and like people have different jobs, different careers.
True, yeah.
So it's like
mm,
productivity demands are going to vary a bunch, and you can't really say somebody's like not mentally healthy when they would do like way better in a less demanding job, but they just can't operate in like a really demanding job. So I think it's just a very subjective like statement.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that one. I'm kind of like 50-50 with that portion of the question.
Okay, let's move on to the last one, I guess. Psychiatry defines illness not by whatever challenge presents to the individual, but how it inconveniences capitalism. I don't know about this one.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I agree with that. It seems like I'm not gonna lie, this seems like a very like I don't want to say biased, but they're definitely like leaning some way
Yeah.
with
It's
like
very
really
like
hating capitalism here.
it's very like it's not like a black and white kind of like solution. It's very like
Yeah,
there's so many things to like factor into this. But
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Price is like definitely trying to I don't want to say reach, but it just feels like a reach to really connect like psychiatry and like illnesses within psychiatry to capitalism.
right.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
there's way more factors that go into that than how it
Yeah, I
convenes to
agree.
capitalism. Yeah, I don't think I agree with that one, but I think the
Yeah.
ones I would agree with the most are probably like A or B, maybe C, but
Hmm.
I think all of these are pretty subjective. It's just like obviously like the author's coming from a certain viewpoint, and then we also have a certain viewpoint on this. But I would say most of these statements are pretty subjective.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
do agree with like certain parts of it, but yeah, it is kind of like a little bit of a reach.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So is that all the discussion questions? It's just
That's it.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording here.